Hi, I'm Josh Ibarra, and this is my Module 5, Understanding My Community for EDL 856. I am a I am a high school teacher at Medicine Lodge Junior Senior High School, and we are the Indians. Okay, customs and traditions. I think our principal and superintendent really not enjoy, but they really like hiring people who understand the area. And so if they can hire a local, they will because they know that those people understand this community. It just makes for an easy transition. If they can't hire local, they try and hire people who are from around the area, maybe as far as like Western Kansas in general or a small community. Um, when it comes to customs and traditions, Medicine Lodge had a very, very strong tradition of high involvement. It dipped a little bit, but it's picking back up, which is good. Other customs traditions, Peace Treaty Pageant, which is about every 3 to 5 years, is a huge celebration here, celebrating the history of the area and Kansas history. But you'll see anywhere from 15 to 20,000 people come through Medicine Lodge in those during that year, that one weekend actually. And then in between those pageant years, we have the Peace Treaty Festival, which is very similar but a little smaller. We are a two building district. We have a pre-K through 6th and a 7th through 12th. This was changed a few years back. We used to have a um, separate middle school, but we've had to combine due to money issues. 55% of our students are on free and reduced lunch. That's pretty common, I feel like, anymore within the state of Kansas. We have a very experienced staff and administration, and we work very well together as a team. I think that our school, the junior senior high school, is very good about working together and communicating. Strive for community service about twice a semester is our goal. We don't always get that, but that's our goal. We at least, at minimum, want once a semester, so we are very active in our community. We have kids who are active with work study or CBT, and this has been a blessing for a lot of our students who are going into the workforce maybe right after school or going the tech route. They can get out and kind of get some work experience and learn a trade or whatever, and not have to sit through classes that they don't care about and cause issues. Our average class right now is about 30 to 35 kids. We've had a few that were under 30. But we're picking up. We have some classes of about 40 to 45 coming up, so that's nice. And then our principal's attitude, never be satisfied and never give up. So no matter if that kid is being in real pain, don't give up on them. Do what you can to help them receive the best education they can. Population characteristics. I would have to say that about half of our community has a college degree or a post-secondary certificate or degree, and then the other half is without any kind of post-secondary education. Makes for a good mix, and we have a lot of job opportunities even if you don't have a post-secondary education. As far as numbers, grade school has 242 students, junior senior high school has 174, so we are growing. Boys to girls, 56 to 44%, so not a huge difference there. One thing I left off the occupational breakdown was our health services. I believe they are the biggest, actually, and then followed by probably the school. And then now that I think about it, the oil field is probably a little bigger than the jit mill. But we do have pretty good um, occupational diversity here, I guess. Home of the Peace Treaty, which I just talked about, in Carrie Nation. She lived here for a while. So history people, it's a really cool place to live. We do not have a hugely diverse population in the school or the community. Not very many Hispanics, not very many African Americans. We do have a few in our community, and we do have some Native Americans in our community, but we are mostly Caucasian or white. So, yeah. Communication channels. We have a number of them there. The fan letter is something that's sent out to parents from our school librarian, parents, students, and staff, and it's just basically a daily announcements thing that kind of keeps people up to date on what we're doing at school. A lot of teachers and coaches use the Remind app, which is a texting service, which is very handy. So if you're a coach or even if you're a teacher and you want to communicate with people. That's a very good one. We have a school newsletter, very similar to the fan letter. General email. Every kid has a Chromebook in our junior senior high school, so we can use email. They all have Google accounts. Um, Public information channel, actually, that used to exist, but I wasn't even thinking it doesn't exist anymore because we don't have a cable carrier in our community anymore. School LED sign, we purchased this a few years back. I know that the community really enjoys that. And we don't just put our stuff on there, we'll allow community members, if they have something, they can put that on there. Facebook page, our school Facebook page is probably the one thing that reaches the most people. So social media can be a curse and a blessing. This one happens to be a blessing for us. High school live stream, we use this to stream games, sporting activities, and we also, I think, use it for graduation. And then student-led conferences. So instead of parent-teacher conferences, we do student-led conferences. Community groups, I'm not going to go through all of these. Pretty similar to everybody else. Um, I will say that our booster club here is fantastic, and I will say the Ministerial Alliance works very well with our school. And what that is just all of our churches in our community. They all work together to provide opportunities for our kids, whether it's a fifth quarter after football or basketball games where the kids can go and hang out for a few hours, or opportunities to go watch movies or whatever the case. So it's an incredible group that we have here in town. 4-H and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts are also very big for our kids being a rural community. City council members, here's some of our city council members: Anthony Farrar, Ron James, and Tom Lee. These guys are extremely active people in our community. I know they've helped out summer basketball or football programs. I know that they're always available if you want to talk to them about anything. I know they've sponsored some of our kids in church, events. So just incredibly good people who do a lot of work here in our community. These members make decisions that affect the fate of our community, and they work to improve our community. And I would say these guys are very good at it, and they take the community's interest. That's the most important thing. School principal, both our principals are very visible in our community and work hard in our community. One grew up here his entire life. His family's been here forever. And the other one has been teaching here for 30 plus years. So they know the area and they know the community. Community leaders' characteristics: are they dependable, honest, and caring? Yes. Our school staff is very dependable and honest, and I believe that our community organizational leaders are very honest and very willing to work. Widely known and accessible, very much so. Most of them grew up here, so they're very known and are very well known and very easily accessed. Knows about and has access to information sources outside the circle. Yes, because they know everybody here. Leaders are always free to express ideas or take independent action, but they play a power influence role. We don't fight as much because we are a smaller community, but everyone has their own agenda. It's not that we don't disagree at times, but we can compromise pretty easily because everybody knows everybody. No economic conditions. Government and business reports. Everything from the city council is posted in our town newspaper. Our newspaper editor owner is very good about working with city council and everything. Agriculture, commerce, industry, transportation. These are kind of our big areas here. Ag is huge, especially right now. We've been getting such good rain. But it has been here for years, whether it be farming or ranching. Don't really have public transportation. The only thing we really have is we do have a small bus that goes around and transports senior citizens around. Employment stability and wage conditions. I think we're fairly competitive here. We just got an increase in our pay here at the school, which has made us more competitive in that regard. As far as the community is concerned, most of our businesses are pretty stable. The oil field, just like anywhere, is kind of hit and miss. The chip mill, I know at times has been hit and miss, but is doing pretty well right now. Land use, property values, and tax rates. Our land is used mainly for ag, so farming and ranching, or leased out for hunting and fishing, and that is a big business here. So, as far as property values, land outside of town is pretty pricey. Inside town, pretty competitive with anybody else, any other small town. Tax rates, they have gone up for our city beautification project, but that's one thing that I think a lot of people are okay with. No political structure. Can we separate politics from education? In a small town, it's kind of tough. Everybody has their own agenda. There are issues with politics affecting our education, not necessarily our education, but some of the decisions that are being made with education. And it's tough, but it happens. Tax increase from the city pool um, is almost over, but we're hoping we can piggyback on that to get a bond issue passed for the school. Know the social tensions. So small community, everyone talks, everyone has a social agenda. Word in a small town spreads very quickly. Um, and a lot of times it's not the truth. I mean, everybody wants the Jerry Springer version. So that's kind of what happens. And it's unfortunate because the words and actions of a few can ruin for the rest of these fantastic community members. Extra sources of information. School public records are posted in the town newspaper. And once again, the editor or owner, he does a very good job of making sure to contact us. Unfortunately, social media or Facebook can be the cause of a lot of town gossip, but I think that's common in our world today, unfortunately. Like I said, they can be a blessing and a curse, and you got to kind of deal with both ends of it. As far as info on the board meetings, we have somebody, the person that's head of our negotiations goes to board meetings and reports what happens at these board meetings to the rest of the school, the teachers. Power structures, time is usually what it takes to take over, or not take over, but to build up, I guess, power in a sense. Money is always a big deal, and unfortunately, it's no different here than it is anywhere else. If you are a big wig as far as a big business owner, or you have a lot of money, a lot of times your voice gets heard a little bit more than some of the other people. No multicultural issues. We don't have a lot of them because we don't have a ton of diversity here. But in order to learn the needs of all, administration should form relationships with all groups, boards, nationalities, and come to common ground with all. We do have connections with like Native American groups for our peace treaty pageant, and that has deteriorated over the years, and both sides want to point fingers. And it happened before I got here, so I can't really tell you exactly because I've heard both sides of it. We try to weave the culture into the schools, like I said, with the peace treaty stuff. That's a big part of it. Um, it's not always what you know, but who you know. So get to know your community. Know the power structure with the school board president, superintendent, principal, assistant administrators, and then educators. The problem I have with this is, I don't mind. I mean, the board does do all or everybody has to ask the board for permission for everything, and I think sometimes they micromanage this a little bit too much, but I feel like that's fairly common. I really wish they would leave our principal to be because I think he knows what he's doing. He's a very good administrator, and I wish they would micromanage him as much, but it is what it is. Measuring public opinion. Don't always believe what you hear. However, it usually stems from the truth. Be upfront and honest. This may not make you friends, but respect is worth the work. Keep your nose clean. Do your job well and with confidence. And when you need, ask for help. Okay. I think those are all very important things. Public opinion surveys. We use Google Forms, telephone or email, or for nearly everything now. Our principal says that our parents are just like our kids. They like to text, but sometimes the reason they want to do this is because they can hide behind it. So it's like bullying in a sense, but whatever. It is what it is. We deal with it how we have to deal with it. The better your public image, the better the public opinion. So this was my third attempt, and I'm still running out of time. I know I flew through that, but I hope I covered everything okay. I'm just happy I got through it this time. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.